Hi, my name's Emily and I'm a nurse in Northern Canada and I am starting a YouTube channel. I've wanted to start a YouTube and kind of beauty YouTube channel for a few years now. I really love trying new products and recommending them to my friends and sharing things that have worked, don't work, maybe worked for all of us. And I wanted to create a space to do that, and I'm hoping that this channel will be that. My very first YouTube video, so I hope you guys enjoy. So for my first video, I was trying to rack my brain on what should I record. I've obviously a lot of ideas, but none of them really made sense to start with. So I thought I would just start with how I do my makeup every day for work. Like I said before, I'm a nurse. I work 12-hour shifts, so I work days and nights. I don't typically wear makeup on my nights. I do like to let my skin breathe sometimes, but I do still like to wear makeup on my day shifts. Even though we are wearing a mask for our entire shift, I still like to get ready in the morning. I still like the routine of putting on makeup and getting ready and feeling good about myself. And so I still do some makeup to get ready for work. I also just like, in general, to feel a little bit more put together, and that's what helps me feel good about myself for the day. So I'm going to kind of edit this video in a way that shows like different stages of makeup, basically, of what I do. So depending on how much time I have in the morning to get ready will depend on what I actually put on my face. So for right now, I'll show you all the products and then I will get into putting them all on my face, and I will show you how I kind of do my makeup. It's a little bit of like nurse-friendly, work-friendly makeup that's also mask-friendly, that's also maybe not the longest wearing, but my type of makeup that I like to wear usually is when it wears off, you can't really tell. And that's usually what I try to go for. If I'm trying to get a little bit more glam that day, I'll obviously add a few more steps. But typically for base products and for day-to-day, I like makeup that, you know, when it wears off, you can't really tell. Because I'm not really careful with, you know, when I eat, when I wipe my face, I touch my face a lot, obviously, like everyone else does. Not everyone touches my face. I mean, I touch my face a lot. And so I typically like to wear makeup that you can't really tell I'm wearing makeup, but it just looks like my skin's evened out, I'm a little bit put together, I maybe got a few more extra hours of sleep that didn't actually happen, so that's typically what I go for. So I'll start off by showing you all of my products that I'm going to be using. I'm not going to be using all of these. This is typically the lineup that I use for day-to-day when I'm going to work. So for base, I have a couple of things. I have a lighter coverage and a little bit of a more full coverage. Now today, I'm breaking out. These lights are very forgiving and I don't think you can really tell, but I am, I assure you. So I'll be going for the more fuller coverage option, but the other one I have here is the MAC Studio Radiance. This is the Face and Body Foundation. I bought this last year. It's been hyped up all over the internet. It's kind of all over everywhere on the internet. Any beauty space is talking about this, and I didn't think it was that good, or I didn't think it was maybe worth the hype. So glad I bought it, because it definitely is worth the hype. I like to wear this alone. I like to mix this in with other products. Sometimes I'll mix this in with foundations that are a little bit drier or a little bit almost like a stickier formula that's a little tougher to blend out. I'll mix a little bit of this in with it and it'll kind of give me the consistency and the finish that I want. I typically go for like a natural finish. I don't want too dewy. I don't want really matte either. If anything, I'm leaning more towards the dewy side, but I do like a fuller coverage foundation at times, just depending on what I'm doing. And if it's a little harder to blend out or it's just sticking in the wrong spots that particular day, I'll mix a little bit of this in. For my fuller coverage days, I really enjoy, this is the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops. Oh, let me see if I can get this to focus. This lighting is probably not the greatest idea for packaging that has white writing on it, but here we are. I have this in the shade 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have the Studio Radiance Face and Body Foundation in the shade C1. And I have the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops in the shade 2. I also have another shade of this, but it's typically, like right now I'm at my palest. I'm not getting much sun. If you didn't know, again, I live in Northern Canada and our days are quite short in the winter, so we're not seeing a lot of sunlight. Therefore, I'm probably at my palest. I don't like to real tan. I do like to fake tan with like spray tan. I'll put this on either with my fingers or with a brush and blend it out, and then I'll go in with concealer. So for concealer, I've really been enjoying this. A friend put me on this. This is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage 12-hour wear concealer. I don't know if it wears 12 hours, but it wears a pretty long time. I have a couple shades in this. I have the shade Honey and I have the shade Porcelain. But I'm typically not doing a lot of that in the winter anyway, just because whatever level of put together I am, that's about it. Like, I'm not really going out of my way to put in extra effort at this time. Maybe I should, but just right now I'm not feeling it. And I'm not always feeling like putting on a tan, but when I do, I'll go for a little bit of a darker shade. But for now, I'm using the shade 2. For powder, I have a couple of options. I do really like to powder just because it helps the foundation wear a little longer, and it also helps keep the shine down. Typically at work, I am sweating a lot more than, say, if I was just at home or if I was just out running errands. So I do like to put on a little bit of powder just so that the oils that are going to peek through maybe don't peek through as quickly and break down the foundation as quickly. I have the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Breezy. I think this is the second lightest shade. This is a baked powder. I really enjoy this because it's not too drying, and it does take down some of the shine, but it actually gives a bit more of a natural finish to the skin. It's not like a powdery finish. You can't tell you're wearing powder at all when you put this on, which is really nice. And then I have this Annabelle Perfect Matte Powder. This is amazing under the eyes. I find that this doesn't cake up at all, it doesn't bunch up, it mattifies perfectly, and it's a really lightweight powder, and it's like $8, which is also awesome. The product I have, I do like to sometimes go in with a little bit of highlighter, just because I'm a person, I really enjoy highlighter. I'd say highlighter and blush are probably my two favorite makeup products. This is the Laura Mercier Loose Setting Powder, the Light Catcher, so this is the shimmery version, and this is in the shade Celestial Light. If you can see it there. And this is actually marketed as a setting powder, but to me this is a highlighter. Like, I wouldn't use this all over my face because it does give a sheen like a highlighter, but I actually really like it for setting kind of the high points of my face because it does kind of a double duty. It highlights and it also sets. So I really enjoy this as a highlighter, and I found that this one wears really well when I use it as such. And then I've got a couple of bronzer options here as well. So I am wearing concealer and foundation or tinted moisturizer. These guys are probably more like a tinted moisturizer category, but I am wearing a base, and so I don't want to look super washed out. Even if I am wearing a mask, like, you can still see half my face. So I do like to go in with bronzer. I have a couple of options here as well. I have the Hoola. This is the original bronzer by Benefit. I really enjoy this. I've had this one for years. Same friend who recommended the concealer also recommended this and bought me this. And this will not quit. This is like the best bronzer. I've had this for years. Is it expired? Maybe. Do I care? No. And then the other one I recently repurchased this because I did have one that actually did go funky on me. So I threw that one out, and I ended up repurchasing this a few months later. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and this is in the shade... I don't know if this has a shade. This is just in the shade Bronzer. This is like the original shade. I know they've got a few different ones, like lighter and darker shades now. But this is like the original, like, first one that came out. And it's just the classic bronzer shade. I find that sometimes this pulls a little bit warm on me. I find this one's quite neutral. So if I'm feeling like I want a little bit more of like a neutral, maybe even leaning like to a contour type bronzer, I'll go for this guy. But if I'm just wanting an easy, warm bronzer, this is perfect. This is a beautiful product. And then typically I will do my brows. I do my brows every day. So typically when I'm going to work, if I'm wearing nothing else, like maybe even just a little bit of concealer, I will still always do my brows. I do feel way more put together when I have my brows done, so I will typically always make time to do my brows, even if it's just a bit of brow gel. A couple different options, depending on, again, how pressed I am for time. If I'm just going in with a brow gel, I'll typically go in with this. This is the Gimme Brow by Benefit, and this is in the shade 1. This is the lightest shade they have. Running out of time, if I'm just running out the door and I've only got the time for one product, I will go in with this and call it a day. If I do have a little bit more time, which I'll be showing you today that looks like when I have a little bit more time, I'll go in with the 24-Hour Brow Setter, again by Benefit. And then I will also go in, this is the NYX Professional Brow Tint Pen in the shade Taupe. For mascara, I go in usually with just kind of like a more natural mascara that looks just like feathery. Again, it's just to look kind of put together and a little bit cleaned up. I really like this one. This is the Ilia. This is the Limitless Lash Mascara. I just have the mini version. I really enjoy trying samples, and I don't think we should knock having samples or getting samples or finding tester options where we can, because it would be a real shame. Like, this mascara is almost $40 for a tube, and it would be a real shame to go and spend $40 on a mascara and then not like it at all for whatever reason. Products are so individual, and it would be a real shame to go and spend your hard-earned money and have something really not work out for you. And I don't know about you guys, but here in Northern Canada, getting your Sephora order or your beauty orders or any online orders really can be a challenge, and quite delayed. Like, you're waiting quite a long time. It's not like the next day, or it's not like it's on your doorstep in a couple of days. Like, you're waiting sometimes up to a few weeks for something to come in the mail. And to then not like something and then have to go through the process of returning it is just kind of a pain. And I know it deters a lot of people, especially where I live, to buy products that they're maybe not sure about without having a sample or having a tester or being able to try like a smaller option beforehand. So yeah, that's just my little spiel. I really like sample sizes. I think if you can get them, definitely do. Sephora, obviously their point system is a little bit skewed sometimes. Like, you're not always getting the best value for how many points you're earning, but I think if you have some points and you want to try something and it's on the Sephora little VIB points area, I would say try it. Like, it can't hurt. There's been tons of products that I've tried where I've been able to get a sample size, and probably half of them I didn't end up liking, or they just didn't work out for me, you know, whether it was my skin type or just my preferences in makeup. So I think getting a sample size is always a good option. Save your money, don't spend it and then not like a product, because that's disappointing. And in this day and age as well, returning product, like, you know, it's going to end up in a landfill. And so I just try, for me personally, I just try to mitigate how much I'm buying before I actually try it. If I'm questioning something, I like to try and get a sampler if I can. Obviously that's not always possible, but where you can, I highly recommend. Now, I really do like this mascara. The only thing is it does smudge quite a bit on me. It's nothing crazy though. Like, it's not like when you go to wipe away what's smudged and it turns your whole under eye black. Like, you can wipe this away pretty quickly, but I think that's what's prevented me from buying a full size in the first place. So I'm still testing it out. This is my second sample size I've gotten. And yeah, I'll keep you posted. But right now, I really like the look it gives me for my lashes. I don't love how it wears, but I kind of just compromise on that. And then as a last step, well, actually a before mascara step is probably the smart decision. I like to go in with a setting spray. I have the Urban Decay All-Nighter here. But I think any setting spray that works for you is a great idea, especially when you're wearing masks. I try to go for a long-lasting or like a makeup, something that extends makeup wear time when I'm wearing a mask. And I actually do find a difference when I do use a long-lasting setting spray. Let's get into putting on some makeup, because I could sit here and chat all day with you. So I'm just going to go in with the Fenty Eavesdrops. I've just put a little bit on the back of my hand, and I'm just going in with a brush. These are the e.l.f. Stipple Brushes. This is the 105 brush in the clear handle. These brushes are absolutely incredible. I've bought quite a few of them, and I thought for some reason, because the Walmart that I got them from, I got them at Walmart. I know there's a few different places you can get them now, but that's where I first got them. They stopped selling them at some point, and I was really worried they were going out of stock. And so I went on the website and I bought like 6 more. It's e.l.f., so it's super affordable. I think these brushes were like maybe $6 or $7. But yeah, I was so worried that they were going to go out of stock, so I bought more. So if that tells you anything, these brushes are amazing, especially for cream products. I use them, like I have one for foundation, I have one for blush, cream contour. I have tons of these. I think there's a few others in my bathroom that I need to wash, but these are amazing brushes. I cannot get enough of them. Highly, highly, highly recommend. So like I said, I typically go in, I use like a few, I think I use like maybe 2 dime size amounts. Again, I have a little bit more to cover today, just because I'm breaking out a little bit. But I typically just go in with this, with either a brush or my fingers. I'm feeling like using a brush today, so that's just why I grabbed a brush. So there's the base. It's just kind of like evened everything out, which is what I want. I don't want makeup that looks super cakey or super noticeable. I just want to even out my complexion. Now I'm going to go in with some concealer. I'm just going in with the Porcelain shade just in my under eyes where I get blue marks. I get really big dark circles as of the last year. I think that's just aging. And then I'm just going in with the Honey shade, and I'm just spot concealing a couple of acne spots that I have. Now I'm gonna do things, it's gonna seem a little bit backwards, but it actually makes sense for the video and for how I do my makeup. So I'm gonna go in with my brows now. So I'm just going in with the 24-hour brow setter again, like I mentioned before. And I usually do one brow at a time. I'll show you why. So I just comb through my brow hairs, get them kind of evened out, and then I take the NYX brow pen that I use to kind of fill in my brows, and before the brow setter dries, I go in and I start making little hair-like strokes. And I typically focus this more at the end of my brows. I like to give that effect, like where the end of my brows is a little bit darker than the front. And I go in with this. I've tried this a few different ways, and I found that this way works the best, is if you go in with the gel first, and before it has a chance to dry down, you start going in with the pen right after. Because I've gone in with the pen before the gel before, and I end up just removing all the product I just put down with this. And if I wait for my brows to dry, it just sits on top and it almost looks like ink in my brows, and I don't want that. I just want like this natural kind of like feathery look. So you can kind of see the difference. Obviously this one's like pushed way down from the makeup brush, but yeah, so this is how I do my brows. So I'm just gonna go in with some powder. I'm gonna take the Annabelle Matte Perfect Powder. Perfect Matte, sorry. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of the highlighter, so it comes out quite a lot. So I just I dump a little tiny bit in the cap, and I just swirl my brush around, and then just tap off the excess. This is a Morphe highlighting brush. And then I'll just take it on the high points of my face. And this is nice too, because like I said before, this will set this part of my face, and I don't need to go in with any extra powder, because this highlighter is technically a loose setting powder. Going with the Physicians Formula, just because on a day-to-day basis, I find this one to be the easier one to put on. Not that the Hoola one isn't, but let's say if I'm dawdling, again, this is typically the one that blends the best. Just, it's easy. It's super easy. So with my bronzer, I'm just taking another blush brush. I really like blush brushes for blending. And I just kind of move my hair. And I'm just going to go basically on my forehead with this. I don't really bring it down. I'll kind of bring it down around my temples, but I don't bring it down usually any further than that because, again, it's going to wear off from the mask. And so I just want to add a little bit of life back to my skin from what you can see. And if I keep layering up here, it's just going to come off on the mask. So I just go in with a little bit of bronzer. If I'm going for the full blown, which I am right now, then I will go in with a little bit of makeup on my eyes and some mascara. So for my eye makeup, I don't do a heck of a lot. I actually just take the bronzer, whatever bronzer I used on my face, and I'll just run it through my crease, just again to give it a little bit of shape and a little bit more life in my skin so I'm not totally washed out. I'll go in with some mascara. So this mascara, again, it transfers on me just on my under eyes, but it typically wipes away pretty easily, so I don't mind too much. But when I'm going to work, because of where my mask is going to sit and because it does transfer on me, I typically just do this mascara on my top lashes only. This brush, it's fluffy on one side and then it's got a comb on the other. And it just makes it so easy to apply the product with the fluffy side and then take the comb side and just comb through. And it makes every individual lash like fluff out so nicely. It's funny, I really would have loved to have a mascara like this when I was growing up. So when I was in high school, and high school in, at least in the Yukon, is grade 8 to 12. So we don't have a middle school where I live. So when I was in high school, I used to bring my makeup to school to put on because I had to catch the bus so early. I caught the bus at, I think, like 7:15, and so I'd have to be up like before 6 because, again, I was a dawdler. I am now, I was then. It all ties together. And so I would wake up so early so I wouldn't want to put makeup on it at home. I'd wait to put it on at school. And the other thing is it gets obscenely cold here sometimes. So some winters when I would catch the bus, it'd be like -40 and you're all bundled up, and then when you get on the bus, you start to warm up, and if you're already wearing mascara, it'll just transfer down your face, and so you end up with raccoon eyes. So I didn't want that. So I would take my makeup to school, and I would do my makeup quickly in the bathroom before class. And I used the same tube of mascara for so long. Again, I was a teenager. I didn't have a lot of money to spend. I wasn't spending it on a like $30 mascara. So I would try and use that until until it was probably way past its prime. And what would happen is as the mascara would dry out, it would kind of get a little bit clumpy. And I can't remember. I know I wore Maybelline Great Lash, like the little pink and green one, but I think there was another one. But anyway, as it would start to clump up, I would want like to comb through my lashes. But you know, when you take the mascara wand out each time, it just gets clumpier and clumpier. So I would do, and I don't recommend this at all. I was a stupid child for doing this. If I could go back in time and just slap my hand, I would. I would either take a sewing needle or I would save a safety pin, and I would take the needle side and I would individually comb out each eyelash so that it looked like fluffy and separated and cute. But I would take a needle close to my eyeball and I would comb out each lash in the mirror, and it would take forever, and it's so dangerous and so gross now that I think of it. But I was like, where was this brush with the little comb when I needed it? When I was clearly a hazard to me and everyone else. So there's my little story time. It's not that little at all. I'm like at 30 minutes of recording this video, so. So yeah. So typically, this is my makeup for work. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's kind of the point. I just want to look, if anything, I just want to look more rested than I am, and that I've had a really long beauty sleep and I've been up for hours when I've gone to work when I really haven't. And this look, I find, achieves it. And as it wears off through the day, you don't really notice it at all, that's kind of my goal. So yeah, I will list all the products that I use down below, and let me know what videos you guys want to see. Let me know if you even like this video. I hope you do. This is my first shot at it, so if it's a little bumpy and a little bit cumbersome, that's why. But I know that practice makes perfect, and the more I do this, the better it'll be. So if there's anything you want to see from me, let me know. I have a lot of video ideas, and I'm hoping to do a lot more filming in the near future and get some more videos out. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Is it expired? Maybe. Do I care? No. Like, we're in the middle of a panini right now. I'm not about to buy a new one of these if this one's still doing me good. And it doesn't smell bad, and it doesn't, so I typically wear that during the day.
I did not grab a bronzer. Where is my other things? I did not grab them.
I had to go get my other products because I was not ready. This is not an organized YouTuber. Setting sprays. Oh my god, I went to the gym and I highly don't recommend. Your health, well, I do recommend, but it sucks.